Hi, it's time for Street Talk, your voice and your views on the issues in the news. The word Sputnik was on the lips of people around the world exactly 50 years ago as the small satellite orbited the skies. The significance of the simple beep, beep, beep radio signal emitted by the silvery orb marked a new era in space technology. With the launch of Sputnik, the Soviet Union had officially started the space race against the USA, a race that eventually led to Neil Armstrong's moon landing in 1969. Sputnik, which means satellite in Russian, was in orbit for 3 months before burning up on re-entry. Ken, who writes in from Australia, regards the satellite as the first step in observation and surveillance of our planet and its people. Sputnik showed the world that it was a small place in the universe that could be encircled in 90 minutes and that soon any person, city or country could be monitored from above. Muriel from Canada reminds us of the impact the satellite had on everyone. The name was given thereafter to many pets, and a copy of Sputnik hangs in the entrance of the United Nations headquarters. It certainly contributed to a globalization of communications in the end. Well, Samuel in New York says he recognized the historic significance of the satellite even as a child. I was only 7 years old when Sputnik was launched, and even at that age, I knew this was the beginning of a new era. Now, if you're in London and a large shining ancient Egyptian statue happens to float past you on the River Thames, don't be too alarmed. The 25-foot, 7.6-meter replica of the Golden Anubis, the jackal-headed god of the dead, was transported down the river on Monday to Trafalgar Square on the back of a cargo ship. It's part of an attempt to promote an exhibition of the treasures taken from the tomb of the ancient Egyptian king, Tutankhamun. Now to our weekly segment here on Street Talk called Punchlines, where we look at some of the best cartoons from around the world. To help us with that, here's Matt Wuerker, the editorial cartoonist with the DC-based Politico.com. This is what we had a look at. Matt, it's good to have you back.
Hi, Riz.
And of course, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the Iranian president, still leaving echoes behind from his trip to New York.
He came to Columbia University and the United Nations with his Fundamentalist Roadshow and provided cartoonists with all sorts of material. The first cartoon here is by Bruce McKinnon, a great Canadian cartoonist out of Halifax. And Bruce has got a nice, lighthearted take on it, a great caricature. And we have the guy saying, up next, the man who put the mad in Ahmadinejad. And
there he is with his little missile through his head and a spotlight on him. But the next one by Rainer Hackfeld from Berlin in Germany for the Neues Deutschland is a lot more harsh.
Yes, a lot more harsh, a lot less lighthearted take on it. But again, maybe you have to be a German cartoonist to do a cartoon like this. But I think a very effective and ironic image about the Holocaust denial and that whole aspect.
Swastika, yeah.
Right.
The next cartoon, which is in 4 frames, is also beautifully drawn. Kevin Callagher.
Kevin, whose pen name is Cal, is out of Baltimore, Maryland, and does a lot of work for The Economist out of London. He's one of the great caricaturists, frankly, in the world. And this is a great classic cartoon and a good use of caricature.
Well, let's go through the frames quickly. The first one, Ahmadinejad is telling the Iranian mullahs, America has been telling lies about us. And the next one is, they've been telling great big juicy lies. And he pulls in a board as he's saying, fortunately, we aspire to higher standards than the Americans. And the fourth frame is, no one tells bigger and juicier lies than we do. The mullah saying, hear, hear. And the board says, the Holocaust is a myth, Iran has no homosexuals, and we are not pursuing nuclear weapons.
It's a great cartoon.
And of course, I'm sure the Iranian president's going to provide a lot of material for guys like you.
With a face like that, absolutely.
Matt, good talking with you.
Thanks, Riz.
Of course, Matt's work is available on Politico.com. It sometimes takes a few days to get accustomed to a new phone, especially if it's as high-tech as Apple's iPhone. And one new owner also had to get accustomed to the fact that her iPhone bill, the first one, came in a box, and it was 300 pages long.
And I had to switch to AT&T. Okay, that's wonderful. Well, I got my first AT&T bill. Right here. In a box. Let's see what's inside here.
E.T. obviously phoned home and she picked up the bill. That's it until next time. Do keep sending in your questions and comments and point us to anything interesting or amusing for Street Talk. Remember, what you see here isn't necessarily the view of Al Jazeera, and some of the content's been edited, but for time and space reasons only. And that's the talk on the street.
Da